Basecamp has this really nice way how to search stuff, where you click a button and a dialog will pop up with the search, and I really like that. So I was curious how to add this kind of functionality to my dummy website project. And so I want to have like a dialog pop up with the search, having those search results listed in. And let me show you what I have. For this, I'm going to use the native HTML dialog HTML tag. And what I'm going to do is pretty much, if by any chance you know Super Rails done an episode on dialog models, where he was showing up how to do like a proper model with like a backdrop, etc. And yeah, pretty much 90% of stuff that I'm doing here I'm using from him, so credit to Super Rails. But this is a little bit different in terms of like this is not the model version, but the non-modal dialog, because dialog comes to like two options: the modal one and the non-modal, which is more like when you have like just the dialog will pop up underneath the element, so it's more like a drop down, or in this case this kind of search navigation that is directly related to the position we are in. Basically I want to have this kind of functionality where like it's underneath the element. So yeah, so let's look at that. The way how to do dialog as a model is covered by Super Rails. I will post also my notes. So in this note I have the super simple version, but you can just copy paste. It will create the dialog without any stimulus or anything else. It's like HTML version. There's like a stimulus JavaScript version as a model. It's pretty much what Super Rails is doing with the backdrop, blur and everything. So all of this part is credited to Super Rails, and stuff that I'm doing I want to show you is about the non-modal dialog, and it's basically this. So first of all, let me just upload this page. It's in form of really simple dialog, HTML based, and you can see dialog will pop up. Now if I was call it with like as a model, it will open as a model, but here it's basically calling the dialog open. It's always open. If I close, don't edit, it will disappear. So nothing new. So here I have my dialog for the search. Now I'm loading a turbo frame for search. Let's go to that part later. So far I just want to load something really simple. So if I click, it will just say close and simple. Wrap this with div. Anyway, yeah. So the close button is basically a button doing close on a stimulus controller. So here's the setup. Like dialogs will work without any JavaScript, but in order to achieve like a more interesting functionality, I need to add some bits of stimulus. So here's the stimulus controller. We have the dialog controller here, and here I have two targets. One is dialog, one is the open button. And why we have the open target, I will explain later. It's related to like clicking outside, so this one is optional. But if I click open, what I will do, I will tell the dialog to show. So if we go back to the dialog, on the body I have the data controller dialog, and target is based on here. Dialog is the dialog target. Now, and here I also have like a close button, just this little button here, responsible for closing. And I'll get to this part later. Now, here, if we click open, so that's basically in a nav bar. I have this button click will call dialog open, so it can be really anywhere. Let me just copy this. You can have this button anywhere, really. Yeah, click open. Should work. It's closing with my loom. Nope, doesn't work. Okay, it's basically failing because we have this click outside functionality. Let's see if I remove that. Yeah, the open works. Let's put that in, remove the open dialog. So we will stick with this button here. This button is basically doing data action, click dialog open, which is the dialog target show. So here is the open stimulus function doing show. If we had this like a show model, the dialog will appear as a model. You can see a scroll. You can maybe disable the scroll same way how SuperRels is disabling it. So the point is dialog comes to like with two flavors. One is open as model, another one is open as non-model. Here we want to do the non-model version. So there we go. Now the close button. So inside the dialog I have the close button, which will trigger the close method, which close dialog close. Perfect. Now here's the interesting part, click outside. So we want the functionality, if you click outside of the dialog it will close, but if you click inside it will stay open, and it's really up to you if you want this. The way how I'm achieving this is basically by telling the whole body to trigger a click action on a dialog click outside, and the click outside is basically doing like checking whether the place you clicked is not inside the dialog event. So I'm doing like okay, dialog target, do you contain the target? That means like if I click, I don't know, here or here or here, I'm checking am I inside this dialog, and if not, I'm closing. And one thing I'm also checking is checking whether this is not the open button, because if I were not to do this, then it's not open the dialog ever. So anyway, now if you don't want to have this click outside functionality, you can just remove this from body, but because I want this, we will keep this, and maybe there's a better way how to do this. I didn't figure it out yet, so I will stick with this. So that's for the dialog. Now how we are loading the search. Here we have search, and we will call the search. Now let me actually do a second part for this video.